Hi everybody, and welcome to our Saturday morning get-together. We've done this, I think, pretty much for 3 years, every Saturday morning. Maybe we've missed one or two. It's a beautiful day here in Phang in Thailand. I live right on the coast. About 40 metres in that direction is the coastline of the Andaman Sea. It's in a town called Thai Muang. Better known to the foreigners here as Turtle Beach. Now today we're talking about how all this world chaos is going to be affecting Thailand specifically, because we either love Thailand, we love visiting Thailand, or we're coming to Thailand and we want to know what's going on. So there are quite a few things to consider. Suffice to say that the chaos is not just restricted to United States, Israel and Iran, but literally the rest of the world has caught a cold as a result of this and is suffering the symptoms. Now, of course, it's much less severe, and Thailand, as it does in these cases, usually takes a neutral stance, and we'll cover those issues and what's happening here in Thailand with panic buying of petrol and things like that. And of course, we're very interested to hear about your thoughts on the matter. Now, I don't really want to litigate the who's right and who's wrong, because that's impossible to answer. We all have our own personal feelings on the matter, but I don't think we're going to shift the dial or move the pendulum if we share those thoughts here. What we're talking about is the effects on Thailand. So let's stick to that. And I'm very grateful for all the people that have joined in. Just getting rid of some of these windows here. The usual crew have checked in, and of course this program is really your program, because I go out of my way to make sure we try and speak to all the people that are chiming in with their thoughts. Now, hopefully you can hear me okay, you can see me okay. I'm sitting outside because it is just a beautiful day. We've had almost 4 months of just spectacular weather. Literally sunshine every day, light sea breeze during the afternoon. I've been swimming in the ocean pretty much every day, as have our guests at the beach house. If you want to come and stay at a beach house, you can go to beachhousethailand.com. So I'm going to go through what I see as the 6 key issues. I've got my notes here. What's happening out there? We've got some kids going to have a swim, I think. So, and we're also very interested to hear what you have to say. Now, so we've got Nong Wua So chiming in with a question, is Bangkok airport empty? Well, no. There is an element of chaos, but you've got to remember that that chaos mostly relates to flights that are either going through or coming through the Middle Eastern airports. Now, that is chaos enough. Now, so people saying, well, no, nobody from Europe is going to be getting to Thailand. Well, that's not right. I had guests leaving this morning. They're going on an Air France flight that's going to go from Phuket to Bangkok, then Bangkok direct to France. There are many, many direct flights out of Europe into Bangkok and Europe. Yes, there are some flights that come through the Emirates, through Bahrain, through Abu Dhabi, through Doha, but not all. So there are plenty of people. None of my guests have been directly affected. Now, having said that, there have been some late arrivals because a lot of these airlines are having to reroute around Iranian airspace at the moment. But let's go through the... Oh, hello. Whole lot of Moxie. Good afternoon from Eltham in Victoria. That's a beautiful part of the world. So good morning to you. Hopefully things are treating you well in that part of the world. Let's go to these 6 key issues, and I'll go through my notes. Like to hear from what you have to think about it. Also, have you been affected by some of the downstream effects of this war? The war initiated by the United States and Israel on Iran, and it's not just confined to either those 3 countries or to the landmass around Iran. So let's go to some of these. Let's hope all this works today. Sometimes we have those issues, like today it seems. Why won't it click? What am I doing wrong? Click number 2. That doesn't work, so I'll try pulling out the button and replugging it in. sort of like turning it off and turning it on again, and I think we might have some greater success. Oh, there we go. There's my notes. You don't really need to see my notes. Let's go to this. So the 6 key impacts. Let's start with this one. And this is obvious, but there are going to be major disruptions to airlines coming in and out of Thailand, but pretty much relating to the ones flying through the Middle East. But there will be other effects because planes are not getting to where they're meant to go, crews are not getting to where they're meant to go. There is now avgas starting to rise in price, which is not really affecting people who bought their ticket 4 months ago, but people who are trying to buy tickets today to get in and around. You are being directly affected. I bought a whole bunch of airline tickets to Australia. I bought them on Monday and Tuesday, so it wasn't affected at all by this. But people buying tickets today, I bet those airline airfares are going to be higher than what they were a week ago. Now, between February the 8th and March the 4th, given that today is March the 7th, so this number would be higher than what it was then, some 328 flights to and from Thailand were affected. So it's not all flights, and not even probably 10% of flights, but certainly a chunk of flights have been affected. It has affected by March the 4th some 50,000 tourists travelling in and from airport to Thailand. So we're talking about Don Mueang, we're talking about Suvarnabhumi, we're talking about Phuket Airport, and to a lesser extent some of the other smaller international destinations in Thailand. But really Suvarnabhumi and Phuket have been the two airports mostly affected. Now, the Thai government has done what it can to try and assist some customers. I think there's been reports that they've been providing some 2,000 baht a day, which would give you a cheap room and a couple of meals as some sort of compensation. I don't think they're required to do that, but they're pulling that out of some sort of tourist fund. And I'm not exactly sure how a tourist would go about. Do you just go up to the check-in counter and say, I'm stuck here, what do I do? Of course, the airlines have got different cancellation policies. If you don't have insurance, then you're going to be in a bad situation. Beyond that, I think a lot of influencers during the week on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube have been saying, here's the problem and here's the answer. There really are no black and white answers. Every airline's got its own policy. Some flights are being delayed, postponed, some have been cancelled. You probably won't get your insurance covered until the airline has actually cancelled the other flight. So there's no black and white answer for anybody in this situation. Now, obviously, the routes that are being most heavily impacted are the ones through Doha, Dubai and Abu Dhabi. They're the airports most directly affected. So let's go to the second one, and I suppose this is an onflow from the first one, and that is that the longer routes are going to be affected, and the rising airfares. So the short haul people coming to Thailand from Korea, from China, South Korea of course, China, from India, from Malaysia, from places like Australia and Singapore are going to be much less affected by this situation. And probably that's where a sizable chunk of the visitors to Thailand are coming from anyway. Our staff have just arrived on their very noisy motorcycle. This time of the year we're madly watering the gardens because it probably hasn't rained more than about 2 or 3 minutes over the last 3 or 4 months. So this time of the year we're just madly watering everything, and we've got quite a lot of gardens to water. So expect, if you haven't already booked a flight, these longer routes that are going in or around the Middle Eastern airports, you're going to be paying more. And there's probably going to be fewer available seats because plenty of flights are being cancelled. And you can, of course, expect more travel delays. Now, are those travel delays going to ease up in the next days or weeks? It depends entirely on how this war is prosecuted into the future. You sort of almost get the sense that it's sort of simmering at the moment. It's not necessarily escalating, but maybe over the next few weeks it might start to die down and some normalcy return. That would be hopeful in the extreme. I suspect that this might drag on for a very long time indeed. Let's go to reason number 3 of things that will be affecting Thailand. And the most direct effect is if you go to an airport, you are going to see what we would describe as stranded tourists. You're going to see people stuck at hotels. Their room has been booked to somebody else. They can't stay at that hotel. They have to go somewhere else. So there has been a bit of a demand put on beds and rooms in some of the touristy destinations. Now, this time of the year, we're sort of getting to the end of our high season. Weather-wise, we call this the hot season in Thailand, but it's still very popular. We're booked out pretty much until the end of this month. We've got a few days here and there. But after March, things sort of slow down, particularly after Songkran, that Songkran week, which focuses around April the 13th. And we do remind people the Thai government is preparing 2,000 baht per day assistance for stranded tourists. I have no idea how you get that, if you ask me, so I can't tell you. Authorities and airports have activated crisis coordination centres to manage disrupted passengers. So particularly places like Suvarnabhumi, Domlang and Phuket that have a lot of international flights. I'd be making your way, if you have been affected or if you've got a cancellation or a postponement, making your way to the information counter. I'm pretty sure they'll be staffed with extra people handling all of these tourists who've got their hair on fire. As I said, I've only had 1 or 2 customers that have been affected in a small way just by some postponements, but they've arrived eventually, in some cases only a few hours later after their scheduled arrival. So just imagine trying to be a Middle Eastern, like if you work for Emirates and you work in schedules, you'd be absolutely beside yourself at the moment. It would be very, very difficult. Dubai, the busiest airport in the world, I think the air traffic down is some 85%. So huge change to that one particular airport. And of course, there's going to be this flow-on effect as we're having the gardens watered around me. I'm pretty sure they'd be tempted to give me a bit of a spray. Now, all those people that have joined us online, I'm going to try and go to all your comments. So I will try and do that as soon as I go through these 6 reasons. Also got a few articles I've highlighted. I'll go through those. There's going to be an effect on oil prices in Thailand, and of course things like, we'd call it fuel anxiety. So on the first day, Thais were queuing up. Now it has improved since then as Thais realise there is fuel for everybody. They're just going to have to be a little bit patient. The fuel prices I haven't really noted have gone up very much. The Thai government has capped the diesel price. So if there's going to be a price rise, we'll probably see it on the petrol at the pumps, but not the diesel. Now, to back all this up, the Straits of Hormuz, about 20% of global oil shipments go through there, and that, of course, is the biggest challenge at the moment. Some ships are getting through, many aren't taking the chance. So that's a critical choke point, which is affecting some of the oil getting to Asian countries, including Thailand. Now, Thailand actually gets its oil from a variety of sources. So during this week, they have been leaning on other sources. And at the moment, they say they've got at least 2 to 3 months of oil reserves. I think they're saying today that they might be up to 94 days of oil reserves. And they'll be working hard with their suppliers, trying to get that number up higher should this conflict continue or extend further than people imagine. So there has been some panic buying at petrol stations earlier in the week. Just at the local station here, the PTT station. PTT is the largest petrol company here in Thailand. And there was around about 400 metres of cars waiting to get served, and probably about almost 50 metres of motorcycles. I've got an electric car, so it doesn't affect me directly at the moment. Thailand produces its electricity mostly from LNG. Some of that comes from the Middle East, so that will be affected, but mostly hydro. I don't think we're going to see a rise in the electricity prices. If there's a threat, I'm pretty sure the government will put a short-term cap on the electricity prices. So, I'm not really directly affected as far as getting my car full every day. Number 5 and 6, of course, all this will flow down to the Thai economy. And there has been some obvious effects already on the Thai economy. Things like freight and the insurance that people importing take out on bringing goods into Thailand. So I actually bring in stuff almost every day through Lazada and through Temu, different types of supplies, just decorations and decor for my beach houses. So it's almost a daily stream, but there have been delays, and things I ordered even a week ago haven't arrived yet, which is very unusual. So I think there has been some price rises, and freight forwarders and importers trying to figure out how they can limit the impact on their businesses. And probably not today, but in the next few weeks we will see some inflation-induced impact from the rise in freight costs, because as soon as those oil and petrol costs go up or down, that directly affects the economy. And of course, probably the big one, the major effect on Thailand will be tourism and tourism numbers. So even though the number of people coming through the Middle Eastern airports may not be huge, it will still have a 5, 10, 15% effect on the tourist arrivals into Thailand. My notes here, Middle Eastern visitors make up around about 700,000 to 800,000 tourists per year. And that's out of some estimated 33, 34 million. So it's a chunk. It is quite a sizable chunk. And a prolonged crisis could reduce the tourist arrivals from those countries in particular. If you're coming from other countries, the airlines will find ways to get around those particular flight paths that are under conflict at the moment. And of course, other people will just simply get a refund and buy a new ticket. The worst case scenario is the total visitor numbers could drop significantly if long-haul flights remain disrupted. Disrupted because of cancellations, disrupted because of rising airfares, or disrupted because you were coming through or from some of those affected airports. Let's go to some articles, and thank you to all those people that have joined us online. Just randomly, 4-year expat have tickets to fly to Bangkok for EID holidays, DMMD XB, that's Dubai, the Dammam, Bangkok, on Emirates, but Emirates stopped flying to Dammam as on Gulf could change tickets for a Jeddah departure at 2 times the price, but no. Okay, look, it would help basically if when you're sending me a message that you write in English, check it for grammar, maybe add a few commas. It makes it much easier for me to read out live because I'm not pre-checking these. I'm reading them basically as they come in. So we've just been speaking about 6 reasons that the conflict could be affecting Thailand directly. Now just going through some of these articles, and some of these relate to the topics I've already spoken about, some less so. Let's go to these. This from Thai PBS World. Thailand planned oil export ban. Remember that Thailand does export oil and refined oil products to other countries around the region. And the Energy Ministry is set to impose a ban on the export of crude oil and finished petroleum products. The exception is Laos and Myanmar, and they're proposing energy conservation measures. Laos and natural gas from Myanmar, because they provide hydroelectricity and also LNG from Myanmar. Energy Minister said, this is down the bottom, Thailand will have sufficient oil reserves for 95 days. That's their estimate from this article, which was published yesterday. So these are some of the proposed energy conservation measures should Thailand sort of be dragged into this further. And it includes things like dimming the street lights, early closure of petrol stations, maintaining air-conditioned room temperatures at 26 degrees. I'd be interested to know when you may be living in Thailand or you visit Thailand, what do you set the air conditioner at? Now, I know some of my visitors, I'm an expert in this one, they come in and they just go down to 16, which is the lowest setting for the air conditioning, and they just leave it there, and they leave their air conditioners on for 1, 2, 3, 4 days. By far, my biggest cost running these beach houses is the electricity and the air conditioning cost. But hey, I get it. Now, other people, they'll set their air conditioners at 24, 25, 26 degrees. During this time of the year, the hot season, for about 2 months, we would use the air conditioning in the bedroom at night. Not for the whole night, but maybe for the first 2 or 3 hours. But we usually set it at around about 25 degrees, which is lower than the outside temperature, and just takes just some of that gluggy heat out of the air. Also takes a bit of humidity out of the air as well. So what temperature do you set your air conditioning at? So there has been a bit of panic buying. Thai drivers panic buy fuel as Middle East crisis continues, also published in Thai PBS World. There was heavy traffic and long waiting times at the largest PTT gas station in the province. I can't remember where this was. Okay, but you could pretty much map this across Thailand. And down the bottom, they've been banning the purchase of fuel in large containers for storage. I'm noting that a lot of people turning up with their canisters ready to fill these portable tanks so they can self-top up when at home. I've also seen some bloggers saying that there's no petrol in Pai, no petrol in Kopangan or Koh Tao. So they're three very touristy areas. People sort of saying they dropped in with their motorcycle. Fill up a motorcycle's probably going to cost 100, 120 baht, but no fuel, they've noticed over the past few days. Some of those rural petrol stations would be the first to notice the tap being turned off. Let's go back to our article. A local gas station owner, again, we're talking pretty much across Thailand, explained the station had been forced to ration the amount of fuel being sold to each customer. Now, this article from CNN Travel, and it talks about nearly 14,000 flights. This is a bit of a global look from 32,000 feet. Scheduled to depart from large airports in 10 countries have been cancelled since the US and Israel attack on Iran on February the 28th. Now, this shows the number of scheduled and cancelled departures from February the 27th to March the 5th. So this is only the first 6 or 7 days. You can see that since February the 28th, there's been some 1,500 to 2,500 flights cancelled. And you can see from that map that the most heavily affected airports are the ones that are closest in proximity to Iran: Kuwait, Hamad, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Sharjah. Dubai International Airport's in the UAE, one of the world's busiest flight hubs. I think it is the busiest. It says it's connected to 291 destinations. Their traffic has dropped 85% of its scheduled flights since February the 28th. And they estimate that more than 300,000 British citizens live in or are in transit across the Gulf. And as of Wednesday, the US State Department said that over 17,500 American citizens had returned to the US from the Middle East since February the 28th. So Bangkok Post reporting that the worst case scenario could be a 25% tourism decline for this year. The second paragraph have particular consequences for the European markets that fly through those airports, and it's affected those whose flights are connected through Middle Eastern hubs. And surging operating costs for airlines would also have an impact, as fuel typically accounts for 25% of a carrier's operating expenses. The worst case scenario for tourists, a decrease of 25% of tourism to down as low as 27 to 29 million. That would be down from the target this year of some 36 million. The best case scenario, if tensions subside in 2 to 4 weeks, these are just projections, there would be a minimal impact of only 2%. This is an interesting story. The HTMS Chang is in the spotlight as the Navy in Thailand prepares evacuation vessels. And that first paragraph, the Royal Thai Navy preparing a large landing ship for the possible evacuation of Thai nationals fleeing the conflict in the Middle East. Further down there, the Navy has drawn up an operational plan for evacuation by sea through ports located in safe areas near the conflict zone, where it would be convenient to move Thai nationals from various assembly points. The voyage to the area from Thailand would take about 2 weeks. You'd have to imagine that in 2 weeks the situation is going to be very different from the way it is now, and what may be considered a safe port at the moment may not be, or could be more safe within 2 weeks. And further down there, the Navy stressed the plan remained an initial preparedness and can be adjusted according to the actual situation. This opinion piece from Thai PBS World, and it's called, the article's called Opinion, Nothing Lasts Forever. And what an upheaval 1 week can create. The airstrikes did not just uproot the powers that be in Iran, they're also upending the global status quo, causing drastic changes everywhere on Earth as we speak. So just some general thoughts by a writer. This is an opinion piece from them. You may agree or disagree with them. If you disagree with them, then, well, give us your reasons. Don't just say, oh, they're a lefty, or, insult them. Come up with reasons why you think they might be wrong. Quoting the writer, when the war is over, we'll all be living in a totally new world. It's as simple as that. That's why we'll all be living in a world we don't know before. It will be a world where every major part of history is reviewed, where doubts are omnipresent as to who the heroes and bad guys are, and where old international alliances of partnerships crumble or barely exist, and new ones are full of knives behind the backs. Nations' military spending will go off the charts. Disarmament talks will be laughed at. The UN will long for the day it was called a paper tiger, because at least that mockery had the word tiger in it. Politicians, academics and students everywhere will fight over which part of history is true. The point of no return has been passed. And the writer of that article, Tolstatit Taptim, the article called Nothing Lasts Forever from Thai PBS World. I've got another article in there that I might refer to later, a part of the conflict a little bit closer to home. I've got the Andaman Sea out here, and just across the other side of the Andaman Sea, the Bay of Bengal, is Sri Lanka, and a US submarine shot an Iranian warship, an unarmed Iranian warship, out of the water. Some 85 people have died, and others are trying to be discovered at the moment. There's another Iranian warship that was visiting India on a peaceful trip to do with what was the ceremony? It was a ceremony they were attending. But the ships, the Iranian ships, are unarmed, and it's understood that the US Navy knew this before they actually used a torpedo and sunk that ship. Another one has been given safe port that was attending that the same ceremony. Anyway, I may refer to that article if you want to know some details. All those articles can be found in the media. I'm just referring to those articles. Plenty of articles being written about the situation at the moment. I'm referring to the ones specifically about Thailand. Now time to go to your comments. I'll just bring the computer a little bit closer so I can just read it a little bit easier. Where are we? Buttons, press the buttons, Tim. Here we go. And thank you to all those people that have joined in And we could have some new people on the podcast today. Hello to you, and thank you very much for joining in. I'm sitting out in my garden. At the moment, there's no sea breeze coming in. I did bring a portable fan, but I usually point that at me. It's got a battery on it. We put these in the houses. If the power goes off, at least they have a fan and a light. But I've got it here on the computer because the computer's going to be suffering even more than I'm suffering, sitting here without any sea breeze coming through. It comes up usually later in the morning. So we've got Rolando Joscarin, who says, I'm all the way from Chai sub-district of Suratani, not too far from here. Can wait for the program to start. Hit that like button. Or as it says here, hit that like bottom. Just check your messages before you hit that send button, okay? Make sure there's a few capitals, a few commas. It does make my life a little bit easier. Dan67 Pan says, people are easily spooked. So I might be talking in Thailand about the panic buying of petrol. In some cases, people saying supermarkets don't have toilet paper. Toilet paper isn't a huge seller in Thailand because a lot of Thais don't use it, except for the very final moment. The earlier moments of the cleanup are usually done with the bum gun, the hose sitting next to the toilet. If you from overseas and you sit next to a toilet and there's a hose there with a gun trigger on it, you might be thinking, oh, I wonder what they use that for. No issues for me, says ESC Chris. I'm flying Bangkok, Singapore, AMS. I don't know what AMS is. Amsterdam. If Azerbaijan airspace gets affected, then it gets dicey, but otherwise should be okay for flight routes. Tickets very expensive for one way. Yeah, I think all the airlines would be bumping up their airline tickets. If you're buying today, they're going to be more expensive than they were a week ago. I've also a family in Dubai, and their frequent do not leave home messages. Parents were due to go visit, but that's had to be cancelled. Got Kun Pla down at the cafe here, which we frequent, and a lot of our customers frequent. She had a sister travelling through Dubai this week, but her flight has been delayed, so she's been told to wait until the airline contacts her and tells her when she can fly out of Dubai. Okay, let's go to some of the other messages. Mike Medic, unless the oil moves, prices will be too high to fly. Nongwa So says, good morning to all. Luke Manson, good morning from Sydney. This will hurt Thailand most. Less tourists, says Dan67 Pan. Well, I think any country that relies on tourists and has some flights through the Middle East are going to be affected. I'm not sure why you think Thailand will be affected most or more than other countries. Please explain. Maybe because Thailand has a reasonably high reliance on tourism, some 15 to 20% of its GDP. Is Bangkok airport empty? We've already answered that. No, it's not empty. It's sort of business as usual for around about 90% of the flights. Hi Tim, you are not scared by snakes out there. This is from Antomiro. Look, I've seen one snake. I've seen more snakes in Thailand than I ever did in Australia. Not really a huge problem around here. This property, it's how wide? I'm trying to remember the dimensions. It's around about 25 metres by about 90 metres. I don't know, maybe about half a rai of land. I honestly can't remember the dimensions. It's a big property. I'm looking down the property at the moment. There are some gaps in the wall because it's a concrete wall right around. But where those gaps for the expansion of the wall are, we've put a piece of concrete so that the snakes can't get in. I think I've seen one snake in this town. It was dead, making its way across the road. It wasn't successful. So snakes are an issue, but they're not a huge issue. I'd be more scared of mosquitoes here in Thailand than of snakes. The snakes are much easier to see, much easier to avoid. The mosquitoes less so, and dengue is a thing. around this area, dengue hasn't been a huge problem, but if you are coming, particularly during the wet season, then yeah, you probably just need to take a bit of care about the potential from mosquito bites, much less snakes. I don't think snakes are really something you need to worry yourself about. Take the usual precautions. Ne Phao, my flight back to Europe used a circuitous route, so it took about 40 minutes longer. Yeah, so a lot of flights from Bangkok or Phuket into Europe, which are direct flights, are just not flying across Iranian airspace at the moment. They're having to either go north or south, and that may be adding a bit of time. We had some Finnair people coming from Finland, and they said that the flight took about half an hour longer. And that's costing the airline, assuming that everybody had prepaid for their flights, that's really just costing the airline. Tony's here, he says, greetings from a very wet Airlie Beach up there in Queensland. I'll be in Queensland in July. Bought my tickets. Not going back to Melbourne this time. So I've got some very, very, very good flight, very good seats, flying with Scoot Plus. Scoot, I think it's called Scoot Plus. The airfares were cheaper flying at the front of the Scoot plane, which is sort of business class, than the economy seats in Qantas or Singapore Airlines. So I did that last time I went to Australia, flew with Scoot, was very happy with them. Excuse my spelling mistake, says Steve Bruce. Big thumbs. He arrived in Suvarnabhumi, 7:30 p.m. from Australia. Arrivals were empty. I think we still need a few commas there, Stephen Bruce. ESC Chris, I've been through quite a few non-Middle Eastern airports the past week, and airports have been as busy as always. Bangkok was particularly busy last week. John Little, my flight was cancelled on Tuesday going back to Manchester via Dubai. The airline and my travel agent have been absolutely useless. Yeah, I think the airlines, what are they doing in these situations? They're going to have thousands of disgruntled customers, all with different demands, different needs, different flights, different urgencies. Be very, very difficult. The world is going to be poorer after this, says Yairu. I think I read a meme the other day that noted that Israel and the US are shooting down these Iranian drone bombs. I suppose they've got a name. And the drone bombs cost $25,000 US, and they're being shot down with $1 to $2 million missiles. So from a business point of view, it's a rather interesting war to prosecute. Have tickets to fly to Bangkok for EID holidays. Oh, that's too complicated. So far, no problem flying out. 29th of March, says Tony Hatzi. With Thai, fingers crossed. Hope you're well, Tim. Thank you very much. I'm fine. I think a note for people flying with Thai Airways, just have a check of go to the Thai Airways website. There has been a slight change in their luggage policy, so that would be worth checking. I think it brings it in line with other international airlines. So if you are flying with Thai Airways, just double check the current policy on luggage. Stephen's back again. Australia is supposed to have 3 months fuel supply. However, the media reports the government has advised we only have 1 month's supply. There's no panic buying that I can see. Well, the media would only be reporting what they've been told by the government. So you note sometimes you hear about things happening. It could be on social media, or it could be from a government office, and then it appears a couple of days later in the media or on your feed from those media. So that's just the way it is. Dildo Baggins, I'm sure the TAT will have a comprehensive plan to mitigate this. As I gather, they're one of the preeminent bodies to generate ideas and policy that shape the future of tourism for Thailand. With your foot firmly implanted in your mouth there, Dildo Baggins. Yes, a lot of people don't have a high regard for the TAT, including myself, but I think they would be doing their best at the moment, even though their best may not be good enough for you. I pushed my I have no idea what you meant, Mr. Mark. We might have to try again. Scott says, good evening from the windy city of Chicago. I try and read all the comments, but some are indecipherable because I'm trying to read them as I'm talking at the same time. It's a bit like, patting your head and rubbing your stomach, or playing the drums where you've got four limbs doing different things. Okay, talking about temperatures on air conditioners, we've got Gordow and Stephen Bruce, one saying 25 is good for me, the other one saying 24 degrees in the evening. Tony says, I always set it at 25. I live in the tropics, not Thai partner, always has it at 20. Then rugs up. Yeah, if you've got a partner sleeping in the bed, there's always differences in the way that you like to, the temperature you like to sleep. I pushed my Emirates flight to November, says Mr. Mark. My air conditioner during the heat these past week, I've had it at 24 degrees, sometimes need to turn it down a bit to 22. I think the general rule with these domestic air conditioners, they can only reduce the ambient temperature by about 10 degrees. So if it starts getting up around 34, 35, 36, 37 degrees outside, you might push your thermostat down to 16, but it's only going to be getting the temperature down to 26 or 27 degrees anyway. Still a lot better than the high 30s. And for all those people that work in Fahrenheit, I'm sorry, you're going to have to figure that out yourself. 37 or 38 degrees is about 100 Fahrenheit. So yeah, high 30s, it's getting hot. Okay, in UK, my January electric bill was £255 for a studio flat. That'd be for the heating. I gather. Something about TV in Melbourne. I missed that. Sorry to... Did you used to be on TV in Melbourne? Asks SVC Platt. No, I was never on TV. I was on radio. I read about 3,500 news bulletins over the years, mostly in Melbourne, Fox, Gold, and Triple M FM. I was reading news for 3 or 4 years. I was also on radio on 3AW and 2GB, but never TV. You put this on TV? You've got to be joking. Steve, get in-row electric motor vehicle, start driving. LA hipster, I don't understand a word you're saying. Trip on this says, g'day Tim. Dildo Baggins is back again. We live in a post-truth world, always have. It's just more apparent now. Interesting way of looking at it. Eileen Morris-Duke. Hi, Eileen. Nice to have you on the podcast. My understanding is insurance doesn't cover acts of war. I think Thailand is being very gracious for helping tourists. Yeah, I was a bit surprised when I saw the Thai government say they're going to be handing out this 2,000 baht per day living expenses to people stuck here. I don't know how you get it, but if you go to the information counter in your airport, I'm sure they will know how to get it. Richard Abramson, thanks for what you do. I ask people to purchase less online and support the local economy for your needs. To keep this economy strong will keep your expat quality of life good. Richard, I always buy locally, eat locally, obviously, as much as I can. Some of the items I have in my beach houses, however, I cannot get locally. Some of them I can go to Phuket. But of course, they've all been imported. Things like washing machines, air conditioning units, they've all been imported, although we use a local tradespeople for the installation and the maintenance of our air conditioning units. It's something we have to do a lot of maintenance. Pay your admission. Janelle, I get it. Click the like button. Yes, the very least you can do if you're here at the moment is click the like button. Yante Song, good morning from Sydney. Bum gun, says SFC Platt. That's all he said, or she said. Bum gun. Something burned gun great in the West. Armed warship had bum guns, question mark, from SFC Platt. I'm not sure if I mixed up those two stories, but I don't know. John says, my air conditioning at 27, no blanket needed. Good for you. Yeah, I mean, I rarely have, I usually put a bit of a blanket, a light blanket over my chest area, but my legs are usually dangling out in the cold, in the fresh air. That is until Daisy, Dusty, Dina or DJ, usually at some time of the night, at different times, will come and snuggle up with me. Professor him. I have no idea how to say that. Many people are deciding not to travel for around 6 to 8 months. One positive side effect will be they will forget fiddling around with the length of tourist stays. Yeah, look, I mean, if you're worried about Thailand reducing the 60-day visa exemption down to 30 days, at this time we've heard nothing about the day that may be litigated. I also have to say that at the moment, officially, we don't have a new government. We still have a caretaker Prime Minister and a caretaker cabinet running the country. There have been official results announced, but the Parliament hasn't sat to formally elect Aniton as the next Prime Minister. There is a small, tiny chance that somebody else could be Prime Minister because there is some maths you could do. They call it the traffic lights, where the Red Party, which is... Who's the Red Party? Per Thai. The Orange Party, the People's Party, and the Green Party, Klatam, if they joined together, they would have a majority, and just making sure that fan's keeping the poor old machine cool. Let's turn that up a bit. Yeah, they would have a majority in Parliament. Anyway, it's a very small chance of that happening. 38234RJ says, sorry, Tim, as an accommodation provider, you should know how to collect the 2,000 baht per day for guests who are in need. Well, it's not my guests who are in need. I've tried to find out about it, but I simply haven't been able to find out. So, as I say, it hasn't affected my guests. If my guests contacted me and asked me, I would direct them to the information counter. Look, it's a fair comment, and I'll take the criticism, but at the moment, none of my guests have asked me about that directly, nor have any of my guests been directly affected. I've got 3 checkouts today, and I've asked them about their flights, but none of their flights have been affected. They might get to the airport and find out something. There could be some delays, but in the contact with their airlines over the past couple of days, there's been no change. The one I can't understand the name, even if they don't cut the 60 plus 30-day stays, I don't trust the authorities not to cut in future, so I won't be booking my usual 50-day stays. Oh, for fuck's sake. You can get a tourist visa. A tourist visa is for 60 days plus the possibility of extending. If you arrive with a tourist visa, then you've already been pre-approved to stay for 60 plus 30 days. So don't give me all this waffle about they're cutting it back to 30 days. I don't trust them. The tourist visa has been around for a long time, giving you a guaranteed 60 plus 30 days, and it's pre-approved. Yes, you have to pre-apply for it through the Thai embassy in your country, but it gives you a guaranteed 60 plus 30 days. Scoot is great, nice planes and good service. Yeah, look, I don't have any problems with Scoot. Scoot is the discount airline, pretty much owned by Singapore Airlines. They've got 787s for their long haul. They've got Airbus 321 Neos for their short haul. A fairly modern fleet, and a good track record, and really cheap flights into Australia in July, if you're checking. Comment, flights from USA are not affected. Well, it depends where they're going or how they're going, but if they're flights going through Europe and then through the Middle East, then it could be affected. If they're coming across the Pacific, they shouldn't be affected at the moment. Confucius says, I'm always wary of the cost-cutting... Oh, okay, it's just disappeared. I would have been happy to be stuck in Thailand. Unfortunately, I wasn't there. Hi Tibbs says, Crypto Kev, hello from Hua Hin. Martin Hammerstead says, I'm going to Thailand next Friday. Hopefully flight works out for me and not getting any problems with luggage even. Look, I mean, the best thing you can do, and there's no black and white answer for this, as I said earlier, is you need to contact your travel provider, contact the airline, sit in the queue for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it takes, and just say, hey, is my flight still going? There's going to be obviously more people staffing those phones. So, yeah, the best thing you can do is be proactive. If you just arrive at the airport and suddenly find that your plane's been cancelled or postponed and you didn't take the trouble to check in the days before, then that's sort of on you. TAT is likely to call to cut the stays of those who patronise good hotels from 60 to 30 days on some spurious grounds and increase the stays of those operating businesses on the side. Well, that's just rubbish, but yeah, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that at all. Headed there from the US via Lufthansa and Thai, going through Frankfurt. I'm still seeing daily flights on time and flying via Google flight checks. Hopefully it'll be lucky on March the 29th. Yeah, if you're going flying from the US, from Lufthansa, going through Frankfurt and then be Frankfurt direct to Bangkok or Phuket, shouldn't be a problem. Do you have a DAC? You do have a face for radio, says Mr. Mark. I beat you to it. So, yeah, I understand I've got a great face for radio. ESC Chris says, you'll be fine with Thai and Lufthansa unless Azerbaijan airspace gets involved. I'd be more worried about Lufthansa staff strikes and Frankfurt Airport being a general nightmare. Yeah, I've only been Frankfurt Airport once. I was rushing for a connecting flight. Is it possible to open bank account with 14-month ED visa? You shouldn't have a problem. An ED visa is a long stay visa. Yes, you should be able to take that in your passport and your rental agreement. You will need a signed rental agreement. You should be able to open a bank account in Thailand at the moment. If you have any problems, get an agent to help you. Okay, the attacker is wrong in all circumstances. Attacker spelt wrong, but thank you, Mr. Gersted. The red shirt. The red shirt, if you're referring, yes, that's the Per Thai party who got the third highest number of votes in the last election. It's 2:45 a.m. I'm up doing my washing using the cheap electric tariff. Good for you. Douglas says, comment, the 2,000 baht per diem is a good investment for the TAT. Oh, I agree. Look, it's not being paid by the TAT, it's being paid by the Thai government directly. These are proven tourists and will be remembered by those people and goodwill of the country. Yeah, that's the way I saw it. I thought it was a very cheap investment in tourism, really. Many won't take it, but will remember. Nice Boy 1985 says, hi Tim, what's the possibility of Thailand running out of oil supplies? Well, the government's saying they've got supplies for 95 days. I think we'd all hope like hell this situation is going to be diminished or completed. By 95 days, there'll be a lot of fallout and a lot of continuing fallout down the track, but impossible to predict. Impossible. Seems to be a problem with the feed at the moment. Tell me, pretty much time to finish anyway, so apologies if you've been caught up with some delay in the feed. I just saw it on my own feed here. I did make a backup, fully refundable flight a week later, going over the Pacific just in case, but it's economy and not business. It'll be sad if I have to use it. Hi Tim, your Scoot flight, what is the layover time in Singapore going over and coming back? Well, going to Singapore, staying there for 2 days before getting on the Singapore to Sydney flight. So actually having an extended layover. I've broken up the flights, even in Sydney, staying overnight once we arrive and then getting on a flight to Maroochydore the next morning. The last time I did it, I went all the way. We had about a 2.5 hour layover from the Phuket to Singapore to Melbourne in that case. It's normally only a few hours, just look before you book. Yeah, I mean, check. There's always a range of flights offered and you can either have a longer or shorter layover. If you get a layover in Changi, good for you. It's the best airport in the world. And if I'm going to be stuck at an airport, it's great to be stuck at Changi Airport. An unarmed Iranian warship. Why would it be called a warship then? It was a warship, but it was there for it was some ceremony. I wish I had that information because it's a fair question, but it was reported by the Indian government to be an unarmed warship. There were 2 Iranian boats there. Why? It was unarmed. It wasn't there attacking India or attacking Sri Lanka. It was unarmed. Dwight Azeni. I agree. If I were stuck in Thailand, I would consider it a real blessing. ED visa LOL says Yayru. Some people use the ED visa as a means of just staying in Thailand for a long time with no great intention to go to the classes, although I think these days they do check more than they used to in the past. Thanks for all you do. Have a good day. Thank you, Mr. Mark. And D. Ben, Thailand's electricity is mostly powered by natural gas, most of which is produced domestically or pipelined from Myanmar. I think there is a rising amount of both hydro and solar power. So I've been keeping an eye on that, but I think quite a lot is still generated by gas. Thank you very much. Now, unless anybody has anything specific to say, I think we've sort of got to the end of the comments, and nobody seems to have anything else to say. I think I've done most of the comments. Have I missed anybody? Comment the 2,000 baht. I've done that, and I got the criticism for not knowing the answer to that. Fair comment. Will there be album covers on Sunday? Please say yes. Thanks, Kun Tim. That's from Gringo Puppy. I have got some more old album covers that haven't dated well from the 60s, 70s and 80s. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Nice boy. Thank you very much for your greetings. Maybe in India for the Holi Festival. Look, I'm trying to find the name of the actual festival that it was visiting in India. And just very quickly, I can't find it. Just one thing to finally sort of end with, this from patiamail.com. Thailand has reaffirmed its neutrality as the PM, who should be the caretaker PM, Anutin, convenes an urgent National Security Council meeting on the Middle East crisis. And the caretaker Prime Minister, it should say, has chaired the first NSC meeting for this year, focusing on the escalating conflict involving the US, Israel and Iran. Thailand has reaffirmed its neutral stance, calling for a peaceful resolution through diplomatic negotiation in line with international law. I'm sure there's plenty more that we could say about that particular issue, but this is not the place to discuss that. Plenty of other places that you can be involved in that discussion. We were specifically talking about how that conflict is affecting Thailand or could affect it more in the future. And I think fuel supplies, panic buying, importing, airfares and tourism are the areas that are going to be most immediately affected. Downstream, look, who knows? But the rest of the world is going to be suffering because of these actions. The reasons for these actions are still not immediately clear. Even though I've been reading widely on the matter, there seems to be a lot of discussion or even sort of post-arguments put up saying that, oh, this is the reason. I think we should have heard what the reasons were before the conflict started. But again, I don't really want to prosecute that particular issue. I have 10 hours layover in Changi. 10 hours. And I'm flying business KLM. Think it gives me Qantas lounge and plenty of time to explore Changi. I'm getting excited about the transit. There were 3 Australians on the American submarine when it sank the Iranian ship. I didn't know that. I don't know why the Australians were on the submarine, but there you go. Thank you for that information. I will be checking on that. I'm back, no problem, with 60 days at Bangkok Immigration, flight from Melbourne, Australia. Yeah, if you arrive from one of 93 countries, and I dare say most of the people watching would be from those 93 countries, you will be given a 60-day stay in Thailand, a 60-day stamp. It's a visa exemption, and currently it's 60 days, and it will, as far as I know, in at least the near future, remain 60 days. I'll certainly tell you if that changes or if I hear any more scuttlebutt. Thank you very much for watching today. Great having you. Hopefully we can all just keep calm and just negotiate our way around this. The main thing is for you to keep yourself safe, keep your family and your friends safe, and that's about the best we can all individually do. We can scream and yell on the forums about who's right and who's wrong, but at the end of the day, you can directly affect the safety of yourself and the people around you, and that is our key responsibility. Now, I'm very lucky to be living here on a quiet, peaceful beach in Thailand, a long way away from the conflict on the southern borders in Thailand, a long way away from any additional conflicts that may flare up again along the Thai-Cambodian border. So I consider that I'm doing my best to keep my family, my loved ones and my animals safe, and hope you can do the same as we move forward. Thanks for watching today. Please subscribe to the channel. You can buy me a coffee. There's a link in the description, and if you'd like to come and stay at 6 bespoke beach houses, all just over the road from the Thai Muang beach, then you can go to beachhousethailand.com. Thanks for watching. Have a very safe and peaceful day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.